start from the top. Okay. So
Cool.
Nick, just for starters, how would you like describe what you do, Nick?
So I call myself a filmmaker, but that encompasses writing, producing, and directing. I run my own production company, 10 Alphas for content and commercial, and 10 Alphas films for long form and creative projects. And then when a project comes in, I generally write the concepts along with Jess. Sometimes we get external help, but I nearly always am the lead producer on them, or work with other producers, and I sometimes direct, or Jess sometimes directs. So yeah, that's sort of the sort of things that I get up to.
Do you when you're directing, do you try like maintain a common like through line in your work, like themes or like visual motifs?
Yeah, so I'm drawn to stories of the heart of the human condition, of societal issues, of hopefully it can have a social impact on society or the way humans see themselves or the world. So I don't really get into rom-com or horror, or I detest the Marvel universe. I find it utterly soulless. Uh, so most of my stuff is present day, live action. I really don't like animation. I find graphics and cartoons just send me to sleep, you know. Um, and so yeah, I like themes. Like the work I've done has been around toxic masculinity, the death penalty, adoption, end of life, you know, so kind of like quite weighty topics that I like to investigate, and maybe just see if we can put forward a different perspective, you know, or shine a light, or put a mirror up to behaviors, you know, that you can do through content that people maybe watch it and go, oh yeah, maybe that's me, you know, or maybe I should change, or that sort of stuff.
As for the next question, just for collaboration, I was wondering like what do you look for when you're seeking like a collaborator? Like what are the qualities you focus on?
Curiosity. Um, I'll pick on writers because they're the biggest culprits, but writers tend to think that their first draft is gospel and is brilliant, and it's not. It's often called the vomit draft because it's the first draft, right? And anything can be improved and improved by tested, and doing table reads and focus groups and whatever it might be. So I like an open mind where someone is willing to kill their babies, kill their darlings, right, within the script. Um, like filmmaking has to be collaborative. You cannot do it yourself. You can't write, produce, direct, film, edit, blah 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 blah. It has to be collaborative. So putting my producer hat on, it's very much about bringing in people that are far smarter than you in the role they've got to do, and giving them the space to do that. With my director hat on, it's providing that foundational vision so that they can go and deliver to your vision. So things like lookbooks, mood boards, directors' treatments, things like that, of what like the art department might look like, or the props might look like, or the locations might look like, you know. So giving them that foundation to go and bounce off that. But also with a director, I just love it when people come back and surprise you with stuff. And especially actors are very good at this. You have your head of what the actor might look like, and then sometimes, or sound like, and then sometimes in the casting they just blow you away. Like, of course, that's how it should be done, you know. So yeah, it's you're wavering around a middle of the spectrum, if that makes sense. You can't be all the way off the left and all the way to the right. You got to be able to pick your battles, know which ones want to win. So the other thing with collaboration is that every project you work on, there's always a couple of people that do a really good job creatively, are really professional, i.e. turn up ahead of time, courteous, etc., and that you connect with on a personal level. And you bring them to the next project. That's conversely, there's always a couple of people that don't do a good job creatively, or aren't very professional and are dickheads, or you don't get on with them, right? And you leave those ones behind. And so now I'm at this lucky stage where in every department I've got half a dozen to a dozen trusted professionals who I've worked with for 10 years again and again and again. And we have this shorthand way of working with each other now. We know each other's personalities, and like it's almost like a code, a secret code you develop because you work with them so many times. And so that collaboration becomes so much greater than the sum of its parts. And it's a beautiful thing.
Just for another question, just of your many projects, which would you say you're most proud of? Like, it could be just like it could be a short film, could be like a piece of theater.
I've got three actually. So Bondi Dreaming was a theatre show that examined what it'd be like for life. Do you remember the Barley Nine?
I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, that's about 10 years ago, so you might have been a bit young. Anyway, so that was about response to the death penalty, and that play went on 5 times, and we actually became friends with the families and then them themselves, and went to the jail in Bali several times, and it changed the way people acted. The first film I made with my wife, The Road to Vagator, was a special thing because we did it in 5 countries, just the two of us, and that was nice. And then more recently, Mate, the toxic masculinity fatherhood film we made, which was the first real film that got me notoriety. It's probably the most complete film I've done in that every department really delivered. Most projects you can look at something and go, "Oh, the script wasn't that good, or that performance wasn't that good, or the editing wasn't brilliant, or whatever." But with Mate, it's very complete. It feels that every department delivered, and it constantly gets wonderful feedback, and it's still really enjoyable to watch. So that would be my main one, I think.
Yeah, congratulations for getting that to happen.
Thank you.
I just
Yeah.
had one more question. I guess it's more a tribute to me, but it's just a theme I have listed here, and I was wondering how you would be able to address it. So it's the Expo theme for uni. It's called "Making Kin in the Anthropocene." Do you know what Anthropocene means?
No.
It refers to the current geological age.
So when you say kin, do you mean next of kin as in family, or kin as in your workmates or classmates?
It could be in anything. I guess
Yeah.
yeah, along those lines. But what it means to you?
Well, if there's one certainty in life is that things will always change. So you need to change accordingly. So if you look at zeitgeist issues like Me Too, or toxic masculinity, or LGBTQI rights, or people with disability, these are kind of like Anthropocene zeitgeist issues in our world right now. Keeping on top of art is really important. So whether you're going to the theatre or exhibitions, sculpture, reading books, cinema, whatever it might be, this all informs you as what the zeitgeist is in terms of culturally relevant and significant projects. The flip side to it is the kin part of it. And I've talked a lot about the importance of collaboration and finding your tribe. I find my kin do tend to be my age and similar to me, because I like that shorthand of communication styles. But similarly, there's lots of people in multicultural or different gender areas where they are my friends and I do collaborate with them. So it then comes down to a sense of purpose and style of working that you are aligned with. And if you start getting on with someone you don't like or don't get on with or have differing views, it's a really uncomfortable place to be in, and it can really derail projects as well. And so, being a creative, you're generally a freelancer, so you are on your own quite a lot, working with this big tribe of like-minded people. So trusting that guttural instinct that your tribe have that same sense of purpose and style of working is really crucial.
Yeah, I think that's all my questions. Yeah, very good. Thanks, Nick, for that.
Pleasure.
So I've learned many things from listening to Nick, and this is a short list here of what stayed with me. One of them is to continue to experience new works, such as like new films or new plays, and to get inspiration that way. Another one is to write as many drafts as possible, and to just make sure my ego does not get in the way. And I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen with this next assessment. And also to play, make sure to play to, I guess more collectively, to play to each collaborator's strengths when, I guess, when working in a group, and to try not to do everything myself, because that doesn't end well. And the last one is obviously to embrace the human condition, instead of embracing more of the genre films, and basically just being unafraid of telling stories that I want to tell. And yeah, I've been really inspired by Nick's ability to do that.